Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. You are pure light. You are divine. Never forget, even when we feel that something is wrong, remember, essentially, potentially, you are divine. Often I'm talking about pure light, and then sometimes I'm getting the objection, but what we look for is beyond light and darkness. And yes, this is true. There is the light and the darkness. And that which is beyond, I choose to call pure light. We can call it in different names: coolness, emptiness, divinity. These are all names that nothing is really doing justice to what it really is. That which is prior to thoughts, prior to feelings, that which makes the whole experience possible, that pure light. In this present time, it's good to remember pure light. There's so much of darkness, but there is also a lot of light. And if we remember pure light, we're tuning into that. And as I had said earlier, then people say, then what does it matter? If we want to go beyond light and darkness, what does it matter? Whether we are in the light or in the darkness, it does matter, because when we direct our attention, our mind to the dark side, then the experience becomes smaller, and more the sense of separation is there, and then comes the pain and the suffering that comes along with it. And then it's very difficult to go beyond from that point. Whereas if you are opening towards the light, then the consciousness is expanding. And if we go deeper, if we relax in that, if we are attentive and conscious, then it starts to happen by itself, that the attention goes beyond light and darkness, comes home to the pure light. So I find it stimulating to call it pure light. It helps to open to the right side, to the light side. For the mind is on the level of duality, of opposition. The mind doesn't go beyond it. And so as we are starting on the mental level, it's good to open towards the light. Some people told me, but you can also dabble with the darkness and get power from it. You just have to be careful not to get sucked into it. And actually, theoretically, this is correct. But it's very, very tricky. People who try that, who play around, opening to dark forces and think they can control them and get power from them, and then can use that power to go beyond, they don't usually understand how they are slowly getting corrupted, how that is seeping in and slowly taking over more and more. it would need a very powerful alertness, a very subtle perception that one could do so, but somebody who has that, why should they double at all with the darkness? Because when they open their heart to the light, to the essence, that energy is already there, a beautiful, expansive, constructive energy, not the destructive energy that comes along with the darkness. So let's open our heart to pure light. From the mind, first we connect with the light and we are opening the heart to go beyond to pure light. Hmm. Emptiness is also a description. No, not a description. A word, a name for that. And it's correct as any other word. It's not a definition. And sometimes people have a bit the feeling when they talk about emptiness, it's like something dead. It's not, of course, not. It's the source of all life, of all creativity, of joy, of existence. But just in the mind, the word emptiness has rather also a negative connotation. For that, I prefer to talk about pure light. It immediately gives also in the mind an impulse in the right direction. There is a lot of light in this world. Unfortunately, there is right now also very active and very strong a lot of darkness. So it's good to be alert, moment to moment, day to day, week after week, year after year, that we are alert not to open up to those destructive forces and get corrupted by them, but open up to what you are, to your own divinity. Open up to pure light, and the consciousness will be expansive, and the life will be joyous. And we can go playfully about our daily stuff. And when we become aware how the attention is out of old habits and out because of the pressure around has the tendency to turn in the dark direction, then we just can come back to the present, connect with that pure light, with that pure innocence of existence. And there we have already avoided any danger and are back home. Make that your home, make that your being, breathe that in, breathe that out, and then all these dark forces that are there, they have absolutely no power over you. That which is prior to light and darkness is not affected. But if our conscious experience is turning in the wrong direction, then invariably a lot of suffering comes out of that. And who wants to suffer? It's not natural. The natural way of existing is joyous, full of the joyous creativity, the beauty of existence. Consciousness naturally is expanding if we leave it to do so. If we don't stand in the way, if we don't make barricades and blockages, consciousness, the experience is expansive. Remind yourself, the morning when you wake up, when you go out for your work, when you sit for your meditation, when you do any practice, you are pure light. You are not a limited person. This is just a momentary offshoot of what you are. It's there, it plays its role. If we don't identify, then we can go through all the difficult turns the path is taking for that personality. Always remembering I am beyond that, I'm not being affected, and prior to that, I'm pure light. Let's make that our home, the source that carries us along, the source of our energy, of our inner desire to express the inner beauty. Then life is light and joyous and fulfills its purpose of becoming richer for the experience from moment to moment, but in a playful, joyous way. Pure light. You are pure light. Hariom. Hariom. Now I'm coming to a question a friend has asked. She has some physical problems and then wonders how much she can do, influence, heal, and does all kinds of things. But then she wonders, but then it's all I doing. Don't be afraid of doing something to improve your experience, but do it wisely. At the same time, not being attached to the results, just with the actions that open up the possibility to heal, to improve. At the same time, relax. Don't be tense about it. I have to get it, I have to accomplish that, I have to really be successful. And there we are actually blocking that healing, that creative healing current. Then she asked me, but then I don't remember what this was, but you said you did some exercises in your cave, which helped you. Right. I did the 5 Tibetans for a long time. I did them actually for 25 years. Then I dropped them for 5 years. I didn't do them, but as in recent time, there is such a bombardment on different levels that are attacking the body. I started again. So since nearly 2 years, I'm doing them again daily. But then she asked, how can we do physical exercises without getting too much stuck on the body level? Don't look at the body as an enemy. Even if in Advaita, it's very much part of the doctrine. I'm not the body. It doesn't mean that the body is an enemy. It doesn't mean that the body is apart from you. The body is just a temporary expression of what you are. And so you can very well include that expression in a constructive and harmonious way. And when you do the exercises, then be here now. Feel the body sensations and relax. And the more you are capable of doing those exercises and are in the present and are capable to relax while doing them, the more the attention automatically sinks deeper and deeper and deeper in your own resources, back home to yourself. It's not when you are aware of the body, automatically you cutting yourself off from what you really are. The body is not apart from what you are. The body is an expression of what you are. temporary expressions, very limited expression, in a way very clumsy expression. Three-dimensional limitations are there. And sometimes it pains, sometimes it's not well, but we can make the body in a means to connect with the now. And then all we have to do is to relax. So do your exercises, be in the present, feel the body sensations, and more you will feel instead of a body, the flow of energy. And there you continue to feel in the present, not to think about it. What happened before, what will happen after, or then go off on a dream. You just do as good as you can. Whenever you become aware, your mind is wandering off, you bring the attention back. Feel your body and relax. Feel your body, do the exercise and relax. Sometimes for a moment there may be a tension on purpose in exercises, but then that shift between tension and tension and relaxing will not pull your attention away from your source. So don't be afraid when if you do more physical exercises that this is somehow preventing you from being in touch with yourself. Just do the exercises in that spirit. Be in the present. Feel the body. Relax in that feeling. More and more you feel the energy. And then feel the energetic currents. Feel the energetic sensations, the physical sensations, and relax. And it brings you back home to yourself. It doesn't make you estranged from yourself. Of course, if somebody does exercises and is totally intent on somehow giving a better appearance with the intention to after that show off in front of other people, then that is going astray. But we don't have to do exercises like this, just do these exercises, and then in that way you include the body in your spiritual process harmoniously, and in no way are you losing the touch with yourself because of that. But this is also the case when you're not through physical, with the help of physical exercises, connect. The mind is always tempted to wander off. Whenever you become aware, you just bring it back and relax. And if you do physical exercises, you can take the help of that. It's relatively easy then to just bring the attention back to the body and then feel the subtler body sensations and then feel the subtler energies and then just keep on relaxing, and it brings the attention back home to what you are. So don't be scared to also include physical exercises in your daily program, in your spiritual program. It's not preventing you, it can be a very powerful help if we do it properly. Okay, then I drop that subject and I'm asking you, my friends, is there anyone who would like to come in and say something? You are welcome to do so. Hello, Floyd.
Yeah, can you hear me, Werner?
Now I can hear you, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you said you do 5 Tibetans for 3 hours?
For 3 hours? No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. I have never done for 3 hours the 5 Tibetans. I started gently, and then traditionally it's being said you can increase to 21 repetition each exercise, but I slowly went up. Then for some time I tried to do more, but then I felt it doesn't give any extra benefit, so I reduced it, and for a long time I just did the 21 repetitions and felt it's a very beneficial exercise. But it's better to go about it slowly, start with few until the body gets used to it, and then as one feels, without pushing, without straining, one can increase, but I wouldn't go beyond 21 repetitions. So I didn't do that for 3 hours.
Yeah, no, I just heard something like that. So that's why I was asking. This Osho used to say that exercise or moving the body is a form of catharsis, like releasing stored emotions, tensions,
Yeah.
and something. But when it comes to Ramana Maharshi, he says he doesn't say anything like that. So how do you reconcile that?
Yes, I mean, you can do the body movements as catharsis, but you can do them very gently and very, as I described before, with a spirit of going deeper, not of being so fixed on the physical level. Just include the physical level, include the yoga exercise or the tai chi or qigong exercise or the Tibetans or whatever you're doing, the dancing, but learn to be subtler and subtler in your perception. It can help to let go of strains, of pains. And Ramana Maharshi, he simply didn't go into that at all, but it's not a contradiction. He simply didn't include it. He himself, he was so absorbed that it didn't matter what happened to his body, he still was absorbed. But for most of the people, this is not the case. If there is a problem, then people are totally, even when they say philosophically, I'm not the body, as soon as there is a physical problem, they have the tendency to be totally absorbed in that and forget all
Yeah.
about being the self.
Also, Ramana Maharshi was a village man, so he used to work in the kitchen and do a lot of
Yes.
physical activity otherwise. But Osho's perspective was more like, to release emotions by screaming or doing some physical activity to, like it releases some negative energy or some kind of stiffness. And I did a course on massage. So they said, you have to release the stiffness so that the energy can flow better in the body.
Mhm.
So do you subscribe to that idea, or do you say that it's not something like that?
Well, it depends the person. If somebody feels like doing all this, then they can do so. It's good to remind themselves to do it in the right spirit, not to get
Mm.
physical absorbed. For
Mm.
then it rather becomes an obstacle. Ramana, he was also teaching how to release emotions and strains simply instead of using physical exercises. He said you can simply inquire to whom this pain is happening, to whom this emotion is happening. And in that way, directing the attention right back to the source. So I don't see a contradiction in it. It's just a slightly different way how to go about it. If you include more the physical, then it's good to be alert that it is done in a way that it becomes a spiritual exercise and not just a physical pumping muscle and jumping and screaming and doing all these things, but at the same time learning to be direct the attention to the now, to the present.
Mm.
Some people also tell me, often I say, then when you are in the present, you become aware that there is something that is simply witnessing. And then some people told me, but then Osho says you have to go completely into the situation, completely into the emotion. and think that are two different ways, but actually they are not, because if you do that, if you go
Yeah.
completely into an emotion, if you go completely in a movement, then actually you're touching that timelessness of the now, and there is that witnessing happening. You become aware in at the same time where there is motion, where there
One,
is
I'll just come in 1 minute. There's someone at the door. I'll just
okay.
be back. You can take some other question till then. So sorry. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Hari Om, Hari Om. All right. Is there anybody else who would like to come in? You're welcome to do so, as we are abruptly finished with fluid. Well, nobody wants to talk, then I keep talking. And then Floyd will have to listen to part of what I'm saying on the recording. I continue with that same idea that there are the two approaches. Either you go completely into the situation, or you just stay out of it and are the witness. Even if you go on that approach, that witnessing approach, then it's not that we have to become a witness. It's not that we have to create again a new being or a new personality or something that is witnessing. It's more when we subtly just observe, then we become aware this observing is simply there. And the attention can simply open up to that observation that is anyhow happening all the time. We don't have to create a witness, because if we create a witness, we have to create another witness that is witnessing the witness, and then we have to create another witness that is witnessing the witness of the witness, and so it goes on. But if you really go what seems to be the opposite approach, if you really full-heartedly go into a situation, fully experience the emotion, this is happening now. In, in that now, in time, you are touching the timelessness, the timeless present. And in that timelessness, in that timeless present, that witnessing is happening all the time. Even if you fully go into an emotion, in an action, then it brings you to that present and you become aware. There is that one thing that is, in spite of the action, in spite of the movement, that is unaffected, not moving, and it's never absent. The initial emphasis is slightly different, but if you really do it, it immediately starts to come together. I don't see them as two different paths. I don't see them as contradictions. And people are different. What appeals to one person does not necessarily appeal to another person. So it's good to choose that which comes naturally, and then not always wonder, am I doing the right thing? Maybe I'm doing not the right thing. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm not going to get anywhere. Just do whatever you're doing with heart. Doing something with heart means to really apply yourself and use it as a help to bring the attention back home. I mean, self-inquiry is nothing else. Who am I? But who is feeling? Who is thinking? Who is having this kind of doubts? Who is having this kind of funny sensations? All these questions, they are just a means to catch the attention and bring it back to that which makes the experience possible. You are that, you are that pure light. You are prior to all of this. And the who am I question is not a question that eventually has an answer that you can define yourself and say that's what I am. As long as we think so, we're still creating a self-image. We may create a very lofty self-image, but it's still a self-image. What is needed that we let those images go and bring the attention back to that sense of presence that is alive, that is always there, that is not ever absent, even if we completely overlooking it most of the time. The approaches may be very, very different, look sometimes contradictory, but if it helps us to bring the attention back home to that, then that approach is the good one. Then that approach is useful. And we need not be afraid. Maybe there would be a straighter, a better, a higher way. People like to talk like this when they do something. They like to say that's the best way, that's the highest way, that's the straightest way, that's the fastest way. It depends entirely how we are going about it. Alrighty, then I'm all again asking you, my friends, is there anyone who would like to come in and say something? You're welcome to do so.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Dial.
Um, I want to ask you about different ways of practicing. There is one way of going to the ashram, to the group, to some kind of working together,
Mm-hmm.
and it is have its own benefit, but also its own limits. And another part, just meditating alone, going on the path alone. So it seems to me it depends on the ability of person be alone practice seriously, and if it's possible, I think uh, better do it alone. But if not, then one have to be able to face all the limits and other people. And for example, uh, we don't have Buddha right now. We have his disciples, and you have to find out what is the truth, what is he spoke, what he not spoke. So can you talk about this working in the group and working alone? What is your opinion how to do that?
So my story was always that I rather was looking for being alone as good as I could. But I can see the benefit. Also, still for a long time, I was living in an ashram, and the very setup of the place also was being in the sangam, even if I went my totally own way. Both is correct. If somebody feels, has that desire to be in a sangam, then this is perfectly valid. For the sangam can be very supporting. If a few people sit together and they meditate together, then that energy that is produced there is helpful for everybody. It's like it's producing more than the sum of the different energies that everybody gives in, that the group is producing something extra that can be very helpful and carrying the people along. But it's also good to become aware that we are not dependent on that. So even for people who seek out the Sangam, it's good if they also spend time to do that practice all by themselves. And if somebody doesn't feel like going to a Sangam, but just feels that there is enough, I'm in my silent corner, I connect and I connect and I connect and don't feel that they are missing any external support, and this is perfectly valid. You cannot say one is better than the other. For many, it is very good to have both options, to in between go, be in the group, get that support, but then also go and be alone and do it all by oneself and become more aware. I don't need the group, but at the same time, it still can be a nice, helpful thing to join again and do things together.
Yes, thank you, Werner. Yes, I have same experience. Working together, it's very helpful. But sometimes it seems to me I need to try to work in alone. Yeah, I will do both ways.
Right,
Thank
right.
you, Hariom.
It's good to do also the other. And of course, in groups, then the human stuff comes in, and sometimes there come tensions, and then that is also again a challenge one has to overcome. This is also, of course, an aspect that invariably comes in when there are many people together. Then there are different minds, and they have different ideas, and then it's good to be careful not to suddenly get focused on this kind of little details where people have different ideas, but always remember the spirit why we come together. And then both is very, very helpful. So I think it's great that if you feel like going to the Sangam, go, but at the same time, don't neglect to become more and more conscious and confident that you can also sit all by yourself and you're still connecting to that same essence.
Okay, Werner. Can I ask you the personal question?
Sure.
For example, if you will not meet Suda, will you remain the part of Amaji ashram, or you will leave the ashram anyway?
I don't know. What can I say? What would have happened?
For example, I can ask you, would you like to be the right hand of Amma and doing ritual meditation, conducting yoga inside of the ashram?
Actually, that's not so much my cup of tea. I respect greatly what Amma is doing, that huge story she has constructed, how many people can join in whatever capacity they can and benefit from that. But somehow I'm quite happy being out of the whole story. It's not so much my way. And even if I imagine, even if I would be there, most probably I would be rather a bit in the background of the whole story, not in the limelight of it.
Yes, yes. I asking it because right now I have a choice. I come across limits of Vipassana organizations, and become very difficult to do same way as it was before. And maybe it will be needed to me find another ashram or moving on. So that's why I'm asking.
Yes, let the things develop themselves without that you think it has to be like this or it has to be like that. You just observe what is happening, and if that conviction comes rather strong that it's better to somehow take your own turn away from that, then you have the right to do so. But it's not that you have to put in your mind you are obliged to do that now.
Yes.
If you are
Thank you, Werner.
if you are honest with yourself, then you feel where the path is going along. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Hariom.
wish you well. Hario, Hario. Is there anybody else who would like to come?
Yeah,
Other?
Werner, I'm back.
Yes.
Yeah, someone came at the door.
Yeah.
I couldn't send them back. But yeah, like you said, like this. So from what I understood, that physical exercise is not necessarily a catharsis in your perspective. You're not release some emotions or something like that.
Well, it depends what you mean with catharsis. If you mean with catharsis a very rather violent physical action with a lot of noise, then no, it need not be like this. But still, also a gentle physical activity can be helpful in releasing actions. It is not an absolute necessity, but it can be helpful. It is helpful.
Yeah, so because sometimes I feel it is good to go jogging or running, but not every day.
Yeah.
But sometimes like there is this where, like, let's say you're sitting at home and you want to sort of move the energy in some way.
Yeah. By all means, go. If you feel that is the good thing to do, then go jogging. Try when you jog not to dream away somewhere around the universe, but
Yeah,
be there consciously jogging. Feel the body, be aware of your breath, be here, be now, and then jog away.
yeah. And is this applicable to gym workout also? Because I find that gym workout, it seems to be more effective if you want the body to look in a certain way, to put it in shape.
Yes.
So, is that applicable to, like, weightlifting weights or doing some workouts in the gym and things like that?
Definitely, if you have that presence, that you can, while doing so, focus on the essence, that you are capable of observing what's going on and be in the present and learn to more and more in the action to relax also. And then even working out in a gym can be helpful. But if the mind is only on that level of looking better and being capable of showing off in front of the others, then it's not going to be very helpful. Well, it will be helpful for your body, but not very helpful for your getting spiritually deeper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Somebody told me recently that he has a friend and he was doing all this meditation and now he goes in the gym and is pumping his muscles and what a pity that he left the path. And I told him, no, not necessarily. It depends entirely how he is doing it. I don't know his friend, so I don't know how he's doing it. But if you have reached quite a good level of alertness and awareness, then if that impulse comes that you want to do a bit more workout with your body, that somehow that it feels right, then you can do that totally also in a spiritual way. But it's very important that you observe yourself, where the mind is going, what the motivation is, and also in that community in the workout, the general mood, of course, is not exactly in the spiritual direction. And the tendency is to be a bit pulled into that. And so it needs even more alertness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I try to find something where I can be alone or
Yeah,
not many people, you know.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
if you're a lot of people, then there's a lot of distraction showing off and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that.
Right, right.
Yeah, and also it's an expensive affair nowadays in India also
I see.
because you have to spend 2,000-3,000 a month, and if it's a better gym, then maybe
Really?
4,000-5,000 a month. Yeah,
Really?
to just work out, you know, and they have the machines and stuff.
Yeah,
But I think it's also a status symbol, you know, to show that I'm going there, working out, and
right, right.
something like that.
Yeah.
So, but of course, they buy good machines, they clean the place and all that. So they
Mm.
make it a bit fancy if it is more expensive. Yeah. But also there is one more, you know, concept. I don't know if it's in Osho or in general, but they say if you build your muscles too strong, you know, eventually it sort of restricts the energy. It doesn't let your body be loose and flowing. And so in some spiritual circles, they say, you know, someone who's like very too muscular built, you know, it is a sort of limitation for the body to,
Mm.
for the energy to flow, for the chi or whatever you call it.
Mm. If you do it in a harmonious way, it won't happen like that. But of course,
Hmm.
if people go with the intention to just build up their muscles and maybe they take steroids and all kinds of
Uh,
things, and then I'm sure this is not helpful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a friend of mine, he was very short, you know, like very small.
Yeah.
So he decided that he will go to the gym. So he had to eat chicken, you know, like 5 times a day.
Oh,
A
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of chicken.
yeah.
And that is like extreme, you know. Like even I think little bit of chicken is quite hard to digest, and like you know eating so much of it so that he can you know bulk up. But I think eventually he realized it's not working, so maybe he started steroids or something like that. It looks like. Mm.
Yeah, and even like uh, overeating, when you feel that your body doesn't really want so, but you push yourself to eat just in order to build up more muscles, that is certainly, that kind of stuff is not helpful.
Mm.
That can be more difficult, that the subtle energy can flow. But if you just do your exercises and you observe your body and stop when you feel enough without just exaggerating, then there
Mm.
won't be a problem about it.
Mm.
If that is what you feel like doing to work out sometime, then you can very well do that without having the idea, oh, if I do that, then I'm losing spiritually. Just do it with the proper intention and with as much as awareness while doing it as you can.
Mm. Yeah. And any food guidelines you found is helpful for meditating or doing more of bhakti?
Generally, eat rather light, not too heavy.
Mm.
If we are eating a lot of heavy stuff, then it's like, ooh, it
Yeah.
needs more effort to remain light in your
Mm.
consciousness. But
Mm.
basically, I'm not saying you should eat like this and like that. It's advised to be a vegetarian because it also brings a certain energy in your body if you eat meat that is not subtle. But listen to your body. People are
Mm.
different, and there are all those theories about how to eat and how not to eat.
Mm.
And if you take them all serious, you get crazy because they contradict each other all the time.
Yeah.
So listen to your body. And if you feel after eating certain things that your body is not happy about it, then reduce that or maybe avoid it. And if you feel observe that your body is happy with certain food, and then you feel basically good, and that basically feeling good can help you to be also more alert and more conscious, then you can follow that. And this is somewhat different from one person to another. The bodies are different, and so you cannot really make rules on that is the right way to go about it, and all else is false. The rule of thumb is eat moderate. You don't have to starve yourself, but also shouldn't stuff your face like exaggerating. It doesn't help. It's not good for the body, and it's not good for your consciousness, because then the tendency is to get lethargic in the consciousness also. So eat moderate, but eat enough. If sometimes there may be a period where the body really asks for more food, and then if that feels right, then you can eat more. And some periods you don't feel like eating much, and then you can also reduce without having to think that, oh, maybe it's not good. If the body doesn't want to eat, then it's also okay not to eat much. So listen to the body honestly, not to the mind what I would like, and then you are being guided how to eat. It's somewhat important. It helps, but usually the importance is a bit exaggerated in spiritual circles. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes they say don't eat onions, don't eat
Yeah.
garlic and all those things. You know?
Some say like this because then they say you're getting more worldly minded. It makes you rajasic. But then others say, yes, you should. Ayurvedic Siddha doctor told me you should eat every day an onion. It's so very helpful. So contradictions are there, and it's best again. You just listen to your body, how you are reacting, observe, and then you find your way. And then it becomes not more so important, that whole eating business.
Yeah. I think the Tibetans also eat meat and all that, but like I asked a Tibetan medicine doctor. So he said, you know, if you're following a vegetarian diet, you can still eat meat once a week or something. Where if you feel like eating, and you will get some nutrients from that, but it's not necessary that you have to eat every day to get those nutrients and all. But sometimes if you have that feeling, you eat. But I found, sometimes eating it is kind of nice for the body, but not every day.
Yeah. Yeah, you follow your feeling and observe, and then when you see how the body reacts, then you see the directions where it goes. Maybe for some time you will eat certain things, and then the point may come that the body says, no, I don't want it anymore, and then you can follow that, you can listen to that.
Yeah, I had a tough time with when I switched completely to a pure vegetarian diet, because somehow the nutrition and all that, also I was eating out, so it was messed up a lot of things.
Yeah.
But eventually when I came back on track, I think it was some kind of balance, but not too much of
Right. And if you feel fine with it, then you follow that, and then you can drop the subject and go deeper with your attention.
Yeah.
True.
Yes, because if you get obsessed with this, then there's too much of obsession outside, on these things, what to dress, what to eat, and then.
If you get obsessed with it, and then you think, I want to eat 100% spiritual, but get obsessed with the whole food, and that in itself is diverting the mind from what is important.
Yeah. Also, there's a lot of connection with the veganism now. But actually, in India, people were never vegan before. And also, they were not completely vegetarian, also, but they had some Ayurvedic principles in place. But
Yeah.
now I think they have linked it with veganism, and then some people they don't even eat milk or
Yeah.
everything they stop, and that also causes a lot of problems for the body.
Well, it is
Mm.
certainly possible to find in nature, in the plant kingdom, everything
Mm.
that is needed. But there again, the tendency is that people who then embrace that get too much absorbed in the whole eating business and what to eat and what
Mm.
not to eat. And then this is also not helpful to become subtler and go deeper
Yeah.
spiritually. If somebody feels really
Mm.
this is right for me, I want to eat vegan, then let them eat like this. But then to go around and accuse everybody else who does not do so that this is not good, that is again completely off the track. People are different, let them do what they feel is right, and then not get too much stuck in their mind on the food level. Even if it's pure food, it's still food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Werner.
You're welcome. Hario.
Hari
Hario.
Om.
Is there anybody else who would like to come in?
So
Hello, Andreas.
then it said something about that the body carries a lot of information. Or can you speak about that?
Unfortunately, well, there is the noise of the dogs, but also you are breaking up. Something is not okay with your sound.
Um, maybe tell.
I'm only hearing bits and pieces. Sorry, Andreas.
I don't know what's the problem.
Yeah.
Uh, okay.
Yeah. Last satsang, during the satsang, it worked, and then when we were a bit chatting after the satsang, it started, and it's still the same thing. I cannot understand what you are saying, so try to figure out what it is. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't work. I can't hear you. Floyd, Floyd wrote, maybe it's a problem with the mic, but it can be also a connection somewhere. Try to figure it out, and then try again like this. Conversation is not possible. Okay, is there somebody else who would like to come in? Hari Om, Vikas.
Werner, if you can tell me something about Shakti Upasana, like some people say that it was Shakti which came before, and then came Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. So, number one question is this: that how is Shakti Upasana different from Upasana of Brahma, Vishnu, or Shiva or Vishnu, and is the energy different? If I do the upasana, can I feel that Shakti is different? Feminine energy is different from the male energy.
Mm.
And second thing is, I've heard that when you are doing meditation and if it is not working, then you should think of your guru and think that the guru has taken your body and then you try to meditate, then it works. So I have tried to do that also, and sometimes it helps. So So my second question is meditation to be done only when you are like sitting? And if we lie down, is that incorrect? So
Whether it's incorrect to lie down.
yes, yes.
Aha. Okay, let me go to the last point straight. Uh, it's generally, traditionally, it's said it's good to sit somewhat straight in a asana that is reasonably comfortable, that the body doesn't disturb. But you can also meditate lying down. It has advantages for then if you are comfortably lying on the floor, the body is maybe having less difficulties with like pains in the knee and stuff. But it has also the disadvantage. It's so much easier than to just drift off. When we lie down, we have the habit to go to bed and lie down and make ourselves comfortable in order to go to sleep. So we train ourselves to lay down and then go to sleep. And so when we lay down for meditation, that habit will also come in. So it's nothing wrong to meditate lying down, but it needs even more alertness that we are not drifting off, because otherwise you just go to sleep and that's not meditation. Okay, then let's come to the Shakti and the Trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. What is that source of life, that source of energy, that source of consciousness is not male, is not female. Now, in the tradition, the gods have taken on little specific characteristics. It has sort of rather been created by man. Then this is a fact that has been there. But if somebody thinks of Shiva, then there is a certain characteristic there that people open up, and so it feels like it's a different energy. It's not really a different energy, but that which we are opening up to, that aspect may be different, and then it feels different. And then are, of course, the different groups. For a Shaivite, Shiva is the greatest. For a Vaishnavite, Vishnu is the greatest. And for a Shakta, of course, the Devi, the Shakti is the greatest. And everything comes after that. This is all human stuff. It is not having anything to do with reality. Reality, there is that conscious energy, and it has the possibility to manifest in no matter what form, male or female. There is in manifestation a difference between a male aspect of energy and a female aspect of energy. But that when we focus on a divinity, on a divine form, then we want to go to the source. And that source is male and female, and is not male and not female, and is all of it and beyond it. So it's what we are giving into it. And so it depends how people's mind are working. If somebody responds easier to the Divine Mother, then the Divine Mother worship is the best for them. And the energy may feel different for them because they open the heart in another way when they confront the Divine Mother. But that doesn't mean that basically the energy is different. It's all the same divine energy. And it depends entirely what we give into it, whether the energy feels more male or more female, or whether it has different characteristics. So it's good that one is connecting. If one feels connecting with a form, that one is connecting with that kind of form that one feels that helps to connect with that abstract divinity. And then this is the right form, and there is no point in fighting with each other which one is better. It depends entirely how we are doing it, whether it's getting somewhere or not.
Okay, Werner. Thank you. Hari Om.
Okay. I think I have to step out a little moment. I come back after a moment. Okay, here I am again. Is there anybody who want to come in? I don't know, Andreas, whether you could find the source of the trouble. If so, you are welcome. If not, it's not possible, unfortunately. Okay. Andreas has written the question. Can you speak about the body? But I'll go into it to be sure that then. Can you speak about the body as a vehicle for liberation? As long as we are appearing here in a human form, then the body becomes the vehicle in no matter what direction we are going. If we want to go in a bad direction, then the body becomes the vehicle for that. But if we want to explore truth, if we want to come back to the essence, then the body also becomes the vehicle for that. It's not, for a long time for me, I thought my body is my obstacle. Somehow I should get out, I should go beyond, I should be somewhere. The body is the obstacle, but it's not. After all, it's not for nothing that we have chosen to project into this three-dimensional space, in this time-space continuum, and appear in a form as we are here now. So we can use that form by not indulging in too much satisfaction of the senses, but use the body to bring the attention to that which is alive. If you bring the attention to the body sensations, you're here now. It's not something that has happened before, a bit before or will happen. It's now. You are touching life. You are touching consciousness like that. If you are aware of the breath, then you are touching life. It is happening now. It's not something you think about and then somehow through philosophical speculations you come there. You just bring the attention to the breath and you are touching life. But then we can go beyond that. That doesn't mean we have to deny it or we have to stop being aware of the breath, for example. We just can continue being aware of the breath, but with each breath also relax, and relax more, and the experience starts to become more and more expansive. And the thoughts will quieten down and stop creating a disturbance, and you become more and more aware that there is that essence with its both its aspect, that immovable part and that dynamic part, that are the two aspects of that mystery of existence, that simultaneously with being aware of the body, maybe moving the body, maybe sitting quietly, but being aware of the breath, the movement of the prana, or just watching the body sensations, that both is an aspect of that one mystery of existence, that immovable part, that movable part. So the body, if we are at war with the body, it becomes a big obstacle. The body, if we just totally identify and think that's all I am, then it becomes a big obstacle. Then one is totally pushed on and on by just the physical, petite, little appetites. And now Andrea says, and what about physical problems? Of course, physical problems may arise, but if we then resist against the fact that there is that problem, then it really becomes a problem. And then we are getting totally focused on that and obsessed with that. But if we can accept, oh, there is a physical problem, and then we do, if we can do something about it, we do whatever needs to be done and hope that it's getting better. But in all this time, we can still not think about it and think that it's a terrible thing that this is happening, and not think about it that it shouldn't happen and why is it happening to me, and make a big mental story, but accept, okay, there is something in disbalance, there is a disharmony in the body, I can bring it back to harmony somehow, but at the same time, throughout all this time, we can observe it in such a way that we are not just focused and obsessed with whatever is wrong with the body, but that very wrongness that creates maybe some pain, some strain, something. If we don't resist and then observe it and let the prana, the life force flow into it, but at the same time remain in the present and relaxing that, then that very difficulty that is in the body and the attempt that we make to correct it can in itself bring us deeper, closer to our source. Of course, if there is a problem and immediately there is all that resistance and it shouldn't be like this, it shouldn't be like that, why is this happening? And then we are totally in the thoughts, in the mind, and focused in the other direction. But if we can accept, oh, there is pain, accept the pain. Not think, oh, pain is something good. No, just, oh, there is pain in the body. But the awareness of it, and then not go the usual way of the me personality who says it should not be, why should it be, poor little me? But accept and see what it is doing to your experience and learn to relax in it. Then that very pain can drive you deep into your own resources, back to the source. We don't have to seek troubles, we don't have to seek pain, but we don't also have to be afraid of it and run away. And when it comes, then accept it and make use of it to use that intensity that it produces to connect intensely with your own self. If we include the body, then it's somehow like we are bringing a subtle energy down on this three-dimensional level, and this can help you very much in your spiritual progress. And on top of that, actually, it's a great thing that we can do for the whole manifestation. For somebody who is sincerely connecting with the essence, but learns to include the body, becomes like a power station. Ramana Maharshi, he has not been talking about it. He rather said to the people, yeah, you are not the body. But of course, the fact that he, that being, was manifesting in this body became like the body became a power station. It became something like a magnet that people were drawn to. He sort of created such a current of energy, a useful, helpful, beneficial current, that people, even now, after all these many years that he has left his body, still feel Bhagavan, feel Ramana Maharshi when they connect with him, and feel benefited and helped by that. So it's not for nothing that that body is there. So we don't have to be obsessed with the body, but we don't have to make the body into an enemy. But it can become a very helpful tool, not by total identification and not by simply refusing that it's there, but simply accepting, okay, this is an aspect of myself. It's not that I am simply the body. I'm not the body means I'm not simply the body. For the time being, this is also part of myself. This is an expression of myself. So I can include it in the whole experience. And since we are here, then why should we not include it? Okay, Andreas, if you have another aspect about it, you can write it. Otherwise, we leave the subject. If we want, we can take a little more time. Is there anyone else who would like to come and say something? You are welcome to do so. Okay. Whatever we are doing, whether we are doing things intellectually, emotionally, or whether we are doing things intellectually or emotionally, physically, all the same, energetically, it gives the possibility, if we do it in the proper attitude, it can lead us back home, straight. We don't even have to do the self-inquiry. If somebody likes to do self-inquiry, perfectly well. It's a perfect way of straight away connecting with the source. But no matter what we are doing, just feeling the body, being aware what emotions are going on, what energies are going on, what is going on in the mind, just being aware, observing, and relaxing in that, and we are also straight at the source. Now, Andrea said there was another question. Let me see whether I find what it was. Is there a connection between physical problem and mental attitude? Yes, it can. It's not the only possibility that there is a physical problem, but many times actually physical problems are manifestations of mental problems that we are not necessarily quite aware, but carrying on and on and on, and we suppress it, and it's nagging and nagging, and eventually it's making the body sick. But we cannot say now every physical problem is because of a mental problem. It can have other reasons, but as they are very much connected, if there is a lot of strain in the mind, invariably there is a lot of strain in the body. And then there is a lot of strain in the body, sooner or later it has the tendency to manifest in diseases, in difficulty, physical difficulties. So being aware of what we are thinking and feeling and learn to harmonize that and learn to relax that certainly is a very healing influence for the body too. Still, some defects may be there that has nothing to do with our psyche right now, but may come from anywhere, from somewhere, and then we can still use that defect that creates problems in order, instead of resisting, accepting, and then deal with it, and we may heal it or we may not heal it. But then a proper mental attitude is helping a lot. The more we are resisting and creating tensions because of it, the more we also rather holding back that healing process. And the more we can be at ease and accept the situation as it is and relax in it, the more some natural healing force flows out of ourselves into the different levels, including the physical level, including the body. You are pure light. Make that your home. And trying to do so, we meet obstacles on the different levels: physical, emotional, energetic, intellectual. There may be obstacles. If we see them, we deal with them and let them go. If they are persistent, we do that again and again and again. Eventually, what created the problem stops to be a problem and is just a memory. If we remind ourselves what we really are, this is helpful. Not getting proud, not me, I'm divine, not me, I'm something special. Just not getting so hooked in the personal stories, not getting so hooked in my ideas what should be and should not be, not getting so hooked if there is a tension, if there is pain, but remembering I am essentially, potentially divine. I am pure light. That very thought and repeating the thought and reminding ourselves of that thought opens up the heart to the fact that it's not something that we finally can understand. You are that, there is no understanding of that. It is. But reminding ourselves puts the attention in the right direction, and it helps us to deal with the difficulties, with the obstacles, with the problems on all the levels. Growth and subtler and subtler and subtler. You are prior to all that. You are the essence of all that. Tattvam asi, says the scripture. It's good to remember, not to develop some kind of, oh, then I need not to do anything. No, as an encouragement to go deeper, as an encouragement to want to find that out by our own direct, immediate experience. I wish you all well. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.